This is another fairly long game. Okay, so you're playing against Shadow Priest, Havoc, Mistweaver. I don't know if Trinket's the right choice for Resto Druid. It could be. Generally, I play Relentless against this, but for Resto Druid, I feel like Trinket's the right choice. Most likely the right choice. I don't really play too much Resto Druid, so it's really hard for me to give you the perfect information on this. I would say Revitalize against this would probably be much better than Fortified Bark. Arguably, if you feel like they're going to go for single target burst in meta stuns and stuff, Fortified Bark's better. I feel like this is probably going to be a little more rowdy. The Shadow Priest is going to be dotting stuff. The Demon Hunter is going to be putting bleeds up everywhere. I think Revitalize would be a better decision. You might actually just not have these unlocked, which is a big problem. You're also not playing Overgrowth. Overgrowth is by far the best talent in the tree. You should never unspec it. It is a game changer, okay? So if you don't have that unlocked, that's really bad. If you decide not to pick it, that's even worse. Overgrowth is definitely the talent of choice in this situation, 100% without a doubt. If you don't have it unlocked, it's just really shitty. You're gonna have a lot of trouble being successful without it. I noticed that you're using Tree of Life. I think Tree of Life is really bad in this situation. I know some people like using Tree of Life, but my guess is since that Tree of Life doesn't actually line up with the meta form, it's not going to be that great. I think Cultivation would be a much better pick in this situation. Try and heal some of that spread pressure, and I think it would do much more work. Hold on one second. Okay, so. Is that you're thinking about Cultivation, you're thinking about Soul. I would say Cultivation's probably the best there versus Spread. Send Ward, Cultivation, Revitalize, really good for spread pressure. So you're playing RMD. RMD is a really heavy CC based comp. It's something that is going to take really tremendous amounts of time for you to kind of get used to that CC. The volume's really quiet on this, so you definitely want to move in here and you want to try and start the pace of the game. Whoever your kill target is, I assume it's not the monk. You want to start with some of that CC on the monk. You want to go for the sap into the half poly, into the clone, into the bash, or maybe just the sap into the blind, etc. So what you want to be doing here at the start of this game is you want to go really aggressive. You want to start the game off really fast pace. Go for that CC. The Demon Hunter might actually just knock you out of stealth. I'm not sure. Because it is a Demon Hunter, he can do that. So let's see what happens here. I kind of forget. I watched a little bit of this, so you want to make sure you start off with the sap. Let me see here.
Sap Demon Hunter?
Alright, so he sapped Demon Hunter,
Nice.
and it looks like he got knocked out of stealth. So I would say sapping Mistweaver there would have been much better, if possible. And what's going on here? So you come out of stealth with a knock. First of all, I would say knock is probably not the best talent, even though it's Blade's Edge. I like the idea behind it, but in general, bash is just so much more powerful. You come out of stealth with a knock. I would say this is probably wrong. I think you absolutely should have came out of stealth with a Cyclone. Get one of those surprise Cyclones out. Get some early CC. Try and get some momentum. So you come out of stealth here with a knock. Another thing I noticed is you're backpedaling. You need to unbind the S key. You need to unbind the S key. If you're running around with S keying and keyboard turning, it's inefficient. It basically means you're probably bad. It's super inefficient. So instead of doing this, you're doing this, which is it's infinitely worse, So you gotta take off the training wheels. You gotta take off the training wheels. You gotta take them off ASAP.
Oh yeah.
And sorry, I didn't mean to cut that off. You just gotta unbind it. So when you unbind it and you're about to die and you think you need to backpedal, stay still and die and be like, fuck, I should have strafed out of that. Unbind the keyboard turning. Unbind the backpedaling. It will do you wonders, okay? It will do you wonders. You can't actually be a great healer in Arena with backpedaling. If you can't do this around a pillar successfully, you're gonna get owned. You can't do this. You know what I mean? You missed line on that CC. You're full feared. You lost your team the game. So we're gonna comment on that one time, chat. No need to troll. This guy backpedals. He's gonna unbind it. He's gonna get better. We're gonna learn from our mistakes. All right. So instead of coming out of CC, or excuse me, instead of coming out of stealth and having to jump on him, you came out of stealth with a knock. The Demon Hunter's already back up. You know what I mean? He's got insane amounts of mobility. Bash would have been better. Clone would have been better. You also missed out on an easy opportunity to get a sap into a clone, things like that. So yeah, I'm having trouble understanding your raid frames. I think this guy's almost dead.
Chilling? Poking?
But yeah, so you get stunned off the end cap. You get the Iron Bark off. Great use of Iron Bark there. See, this is a situation where Overgrowth would be phenomenal. You know, instead of struggling right now, you would overgrowth. Your whole team would be top. So that talent is very, very important. Looks like your team's not killing the Psi Fiend. That thing needs to die immediately. Dispel there. Dispelling Priest Dots is pretty powerful. That Bark skin, maybe not the worst skin. It's Metaform. You know, counter that Metaform with the Bark skin. It looks like your team's just kind of running with their heads cut off right now. You guys gotta go into the game with a game plan. You're playing RMD. You're not playing Turbo Cleave. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, all right, let's just pick one. Priest. You can't just say let's go Priest and expect to win the game. You gotta go into the game with a strategy of who's gonna be your kill target, who you're gonna CC, in what order are you gonna CC them, and you really have to stick with that, or you're gonna be unsuccessful with RMD. So from what I've seen right now, I feel like I've seen nothing but a sap for CC. You should be trying to maybe take advantage of this Priest right now, get some Cyclones out. You got to spam Cyclones as RMD. You got to try and tank some of those interrupts. You got incapped right there. Not that big of a deal. Looks like your Rogue's being a little aggressive on the Monk. The Monk's probably the worst target that you can hit unless it's in like a really hard swap. So right now, it just looks like your team is really struggling to get any CC out. You should. There's a sheep right there. Okay, that sheep is beautiful. Every time your mage gets a sheep like this, he should anticipate the dispel. So that guy's in a sheep. He should get resheeped. Off that sheep, he should get Cyclone. Off that Cyclone, you push in for a bash on the Monk. You bash him. He sheeps the Monk. You got Demon Hunter and a clone. And you have Monk and a bash sheep. You reclone that Demon Hunter. You get a ton of damage on Priest. You got to be really crisp. You gotta be really crisp with the CC. So he swaps the sheep from the Demon Hunter to the Shadow Priest. He probably should have sheeped this guy 3 times. I would say if you're sheeping, you should probably almost always sheep 3 times, and then you should always try and look for Cyclones out of those sheeps. So Silence right now, you're just in tree form. I would say this probably isn't the best tree form. Metamorphosis is already down. Looks like you might be struggling a little bit. I would still say you probably need you probably need tree form to heal through meta. But once again, I don't think I've seen any Cyclones out. Cyclone is your most powerful ability. I cannot stress the importance of how much you need to use it. Probably not as many sheeps going out. I don't think this Monk's been sheeped at all. That's one of the reasons why Bash is so important. It looks like, okay, you go for a knock there. You go for a clone. Great job. You finally got a Cyclone out. That's very good. Now your team's got to be taking advantage of this. When this guy's in a Cyclone, that Priest should be in a Polymorph. You should be in a situation right now where you should be able to go for a reclone. You walk up the ramp a little bit. You could have easily avoided that fear if you just stayed down there and camped for the CC. So you guys are playing RMD and you just don't have a great concept of how you need to get CC. So that's definitely one thing you need to work on. You always got to have someone CC'd. If you're cloning this guy, the other guy's going to be in a sheep. So it looks like he's in a sheep down there. Great job by Yoga to get that sheep. But once again, you gotta follow that up with the resheeps. Okay, you got to make sure that if you get a clone, you reclone it. You got to make sure if you get a sheep, you get the resheep. And I would say Shadow Priest is probably the best in this situation, but Yoga would have a much easier job if you had Bash, I think. But yeah, ultimately, not enough Cyclones going out, not enough sheeps going out. There should always be one DPS sheep. There should always be one DPS clone. You guys have too much CC to not be abusing it. You could honestly just clone this Priest right here. You know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. You could just clone this Priest. Just clone whatever you can, whenever you can. So the orb's down right now. This would be a great opportunity if you had Bash to displace in onto the Monk, go for the Bash, go for the Cyclones, but not having that kind of really limits the amount of CC you can actually get. This is a good opportunity clone here. Let's see if you see this. Boom, perfect. See, you're not retarded. You understand if someone's in your face, you can get CC, but what you don't understand is you got to sometimes create situations where you can get your CC. That's where the bashes come in. That's where the communication and the experience comes in. You go for that Cyclone right there. He actually incaps you, so good play by this Monk. You had the foresight to understand that was a good situation to clone. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay off for you. Decent knock right there, but once again, he's probably just going to get up. It's not as impactful as actually getting the clones and stuff. You know what I mean? So, look, boom. Nice job trying to go for a clone there. He stops you. He gets sheep. That's a good job by casting too. So right now, Yoga should always go for a resheep off that. The Priest is a kill target. You're pushing in for a clone on the Monk. I would say it's not really your job to go for that clone. Let him sheep him 2 times. After those sheeps, you go for a clone on him, and then Yoga pushes in for the sheep on the Monk while you control the Demon Hunter. You know what I mean? So this is meta. This is probably would be the opportunity where you really want to go for the tree form here. You get the Iron Bark up. This is another situation where Overgrowth would be much better. Knock there, misses the Demon Hunter. in general, I don't think I would suggest playing Nock. Looks like you're probably going to go below, go for a Trank here. Good positioning, good understanding. You need some strong spread healing. Good understanding that if you stayed up top, you probably would have got interrupted. So, you know, pretty strong understanding of the map right there. It was a good job by you. But mainly, you know, you guys are just playing. You're playing the game to just basically not win. You know, you're just running around with your dick's fucking flopping around in your hand. And trust me, I love fucking flopping my dick around in my hand. But eventually, you got to say, fuck it. We got to be a man. Put your fucking dick in your pants, run in there, get some fucking CC. So in general, you guys just got to go in with a better game plan. Boom. Full sheep right here. Let's see what happens off this. He's got to go for a resheep off that. Let's see if he goes for the resheep. Are we going to get a resheep? Are we going to get a resheep? So he's casting Frostbolt right now. That's a mistake. He's got to go for that resheep. You're in a silence. If he resheeps right there and then resheeps off that, you displace over there, you start getting Cyclones. Okay, it gets a resheep a little late. Now this is your opportunity where you got to push in for CC right now. You got to understand that every single time the healer's in a sheep, it is your job to either Cyclone the healer to get CC off of the sheeps or to Cyclone the DPS to prevent the healing. If you can't get the CC on the healer, you need to Cyclone the DPS. You're not in the position right now to get the Cyclone on the healer, so it'd be better to Cyclone the priest, prevent the healing, then push up for CC on the healer, and then try and get the Cyclone on the healer, swap it from the priest onto the monk, and that'd be much better. Bash would be so much better in this situation. You have such an easier time getting CC with that bash. I can't stress it enough, but you know, you guys gotta, you know, bring it together, communicate a little bit better. Defensive cooldowns, you're kind of just using them as you feel necessary. Not really that big of a deal. You're using your Iron Barks and your skins fairly well. The tree form, I think, might have been after meta again. I would really try and line that tree form up with meta just to make sure you could heal through it. You call for Cloak here. Really strong as a healer to know what cooldowns your teammates have and call for those cooldowns when you find necessary. This is why marks are so important in Arena, by the way. He's down here, you're up here. You go down here, he goes over here. So, you know, you get line there, but it's just a lack of communication. It's no marks. Eventually, you guys end up going down. You got to work on your CC a lot if you want to be good at RMD. The talent choices weren't optimal. You're missing overgrowth. You're missing some of that spread healing. You're missing bash to help you for that CC. All in all, I definitely think you guys could win this game if you just had a little bit more experience. And you just got to work on that CC a little bit. So all in all, not terrible. Make sure you unbind that S key. Make sure you stay spec bash. You guys got to go for the cross CCs. Every single time that mage gets CC on the healer, it's your job to follow it up. If you can't follow it up, you got to make sure you clone the DPS to prevent the healing. So all the burst that you just did, the healer doesn't have the opportunity to heal into that. You know what I mean? And then try and make the opportunity to get the CC off that. What else? Also, every single time he sheeps a DPS, you want him to, you know, sheep a DPS, sheep a DPS, sheep a DPS, then you free clone right off that. You know what I mean? They're in that sheep. They can't prevent you from stopping the Cyclone. Boom. You go for the Cyclone off that. All right? So best of luck to you guys, man. I would love to know how, you know, you're starting to do after hearing that for the people I just reviewed. I got another one in the chat that someone linked. If you guys want me to review a game for you, go exclamation curse right now, join that curse server, leave a video for me in the video breakdown section. I'll take a look at it off stream just to make sure there's nothing, you know, that I can't show on stream.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys would actually do that to me, but just to be safe.
That you never be lonely. Be the fan, that's what they call me. I promise that you never be